What we're going to watch in this video today is how to find the y-intercept in slope-intercept form if we only have 2 points. So you probably remember from our last outcome, if we're looking for the y-intercept on a graph, for example, so if that's my x and y axis, we know that the y-intercept is the point where the linear equation, the line I'm drawing, or that's already there, crosses the y-axis. So here's my x-axis, y-axis. If I were to draw in a linear equation, I'm just using a dotted line so that you could tell the difference from the axis, it would be the point where it crosses the y-axis, or right here. So we could figure out what that value is and we would know what the y-intercept would be. If I saw a table or a set of ordered pairs, we know that the y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. So in this particular example, where x is 0, y is 1. So my y-intercept would be 1 in this case, because x is 0 at the y-axis. If this is x, here's my positives, here's my negatives, and then right here in the middle is 0. So the y-axis is actually x equals 0. Those are a few ways we saw it in the actual y equals mx plus b form. We know that this is the y-intercept. So if I had something like y equals 3x plus 4, my y-intercept in this case would be 4. Those are things we've already practiced. What we haven't done is figuring out how we can find the y-intercept if we have just 2 points and one of them doesn't include x being 0. So for your summary or your S portion today, let's copy this down. Let's say that we have 2 points, we'll pick 2, 3, and then we will pick 4, 7. And in this case, I could easily find the slope. We know how to do that. I wouldn't necessarily know what the y-intercept is because neither of my x's are 0, so that doesn't make it easy. What we'll do first is just go ahead and solve for slope. So step 1, solve for slope, or m. We know that m means slope. And if you want to label your x1, y1, x2, y2, go right ahead. So y2 minus y1, that is 7 minus 3, over x2 minus x1, 4 minus 2. I have 4 over 2, which is 2. So I know that my slope is going to be 2 in this case. And that's great, but that doesn't tell me anything about my y-intercept. So step 2 is we are going to plug in our values to solve for b. And b is our y-intercept. So if I have y equals mx plus b, I'm going to go ahead and plug in the values I have, because I actually have 3 of the values. The only thing that's missing is b, but I have y, m, and x. If I go back to my 2 original points, it really doesn't matter which one I pick. I'll just pick the first one here, just so that really there's no reason. I'm just picking the first one. It would work if we picked the second one also. So when I look at that point, I do have an x and I have a y, and I can plug that x and y in for x and y in my equation. So y, which is 3, equals m, which we've already discovered is 2, times x, which is 2, plus b. Now I can solve for b just like I would solve a regular equation. So I have 3 equals 4 plus b. and I want b by itself, so I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. That's gone. B equals 3 minus 4 is the same as 3 plus a negative 4, which is negative 1. So now at this point, I see that my slope is 2, my y-intercept is negative 1, so my equation is y equals 2x minus 1, or 2x plus a negative 1. Either way is acceptable. Okay. Let's try one more, and then you guys will have a couple to practice on your own. Let's say that I have the points, we'll go with negative 2, 8, and 3, 13. So again, the first thing I want to do if I go back is solve for my slope. So let's go ahead and solve for slope. y2, so m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and it's minus a negative 2 since x1 is negative 2. And that will equal 5 over, keep cross change, 3 minus a negative 2 is the same as 3 plus 2, 5, which simplifies to 1. So I know that my slope here is 1. Now I'm going to take an x value, a y value, and my m and plug it in so I can solve for b. So I have this as my normal setup for slope-intercept form. In this case, this time, I'll pick the second point, and you all know that I like working with positives rather than negatives anyways, so it really doesn't matter which one I pick, I just like these numbers better than those. So my y here, this is my y and this is my x, my y is 13 equals m, which is 1, times x, which is 3, plus b. Now we can solve for b. So 13 equals 3 plus b. Subtract 3 on both sides to get b by itself. B equals 10. And m equals 1, so write it in the equation. Y equals 1x, which is the same as x, plus 10. And you're done. All right, your cue for tonight. Let's try these points. Let's try 1, 6, and 2, 10. And then write it in slope-intercept form when you're done. And let's try this one also. I'll give you some negatives. So let's do negative 4, 2. And negative 1, we'll go with 8. Okay, so tonight, try these out. You want to find the slope, find the y-intercept, and then go ahead and write it back in slope-intercept form when you're done. Be ready for tomorrow. See you then.